got here SummerSlam 1991, or the wedding, made in heaven, match made in hell. And what a controversial SummerSlam this was. Obviously, we go back to Macho Man Randy Savage, who was the Macho King until the end of WrestleMania 7. And now he's marrying his wife, but they're kayfabe marrying each other on SummerSlam. And interesting turn of events. Just because of the whole thing with what would lead up to be Jake Roberts and Randy Savage and the snake bite and this whole thing. It just, it's really cool to see. Also, the tag team match, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior versus Sergeant Slaughter and Colonel Mustafa. Oh, it was a handicap match. Yeah. Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnob. So, alright, yeah. We get to the dark match once again. Coco Beware, who defeated Kato. Coco Beware this time. This will be the last time, I think, we see him as a singles competitor until he joins Owen Hart for High Energy. Well, first it's going to be Jim the Anvil Neidhart, but of course it's still High Energy, so it's still pretty cool to see Coco Beware and Frankie. Coco won this match. And then we head on to SummerSlam. We've got the British Bulldog, Ricky Steamboat, and the Texas Tornado, who defeated the Warlord and Power and Glory. The Slick. So, British Bulldog and Dynamite Kid broke up, and no longer the British Bulldogs. British Bulldog is there. I think he had Winston in his corner. Winston, the English Bulldog. Of course, got Ricky Steamboat and Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. These guys were very cool wrestlers. You would see Ricky Steamboat go to WCW after this year. And then, of course, the Warlord and Power and Glory. So, the Bulldog team won. So, this was cool. I like to see these guys in their singles run. It shows more character. Then we get to, speaking of first time singles competition, Bret the Hitman Hart in his first singles title match with the Intercontinental Champion, Mr. Perfect, with Coach. And I said that Mr. Perfect is the second longest Intercontinental Champion. Of course, got Bret Hart, who just left the Hart Foundation with Jim Neidhart. And now you have these guys who are very good wrestlers. Interesting fact, Kurt Hennig broke his back, or hurt his back. So, it was cool to see him want to put over Bret Hart. That's exactly what he did. He made Bret Hart look like $1 million. So this is Bret Hart's first Intercontinental title. It's kind of like seeing Chris Jericho. When Chris Jericho was in WrestleMania... William Regal, I should say. William Regal went into WrestleMania 17 going for the Intercontinental Championship and not getting it, whereas WrestleMania 18 going in with the Intercontinental Championship. So, in this case, SummerSlam 91, seeing Bret Hart go for the Intercontinental Championship, and then later we'll find out that Bret Hart will be defending the Intercontinental Championship the next year at SummerSlam. But this was a cool match. Very good technical wrestlers. Obviously, Mr. Perfect, he was a very good wrestler. And of course, managing Ric Flair. but he will be missed. Then we have a tag team match. For the first time ever, the natural disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon. Jimmy Hart took on the Bushwhackers. And yes, this was cool. These two teams, very charismatic. I always say that, in my opinion, the Natural Disasters are one of the best tag team wrestlers in the 90s. At least the early 90s. And we saw Tugboat go into Typhoon. And then, of course, Earthquake, who later went on to be Olga, and then also before that, Sharky, I can't remember. It's in WCW. But yes, and unfortunately, John Tundra passed away, and it's a shame, you know. But these guys were a great tag team nonetheless. No, and then of course you got the Bushwhackers. Always fun to watch. You have the $1 Million Championship match. Virgil, who finally defeated Ted DiBiase. Of course, Virgil was the quote-unquote slave, or whatever you want to call him, to Ted DiBiase. It was a different time, obviously. But Virgil went out on his own and defeated Ted DiBiase for the title. Although it was a made-up title, it was still the $1 million gold belt as was. So yeah, this was cool. And it's too bad Virgil didn't get his due in WWE. That was his only singles title. He wasn't even a tag team champion, so him going over to WCW, becoming a part of the NWO, I'm not sure if he ever got a title shot there. But then we head on to the Big Boss Man, who defeated the Mountie, Jimmy Hart, the American Cobb County, Georgia police officer, taking on the Canadian Mountie. Very cool indeed. But Big Boss Man had his match, had his win there, beating the Mountie. Jacques Rougeau, I think, is underrated in the WWE. He was only the Intercontinental Champion and a Tag Team Champion. I wish he would have gotten a bigger push near the end, but there it is. Him and Pierre did come back in the late 90s as the new Quebecers. They changed their look, which was cool, but nonetheless, they just never got another title shot, not another title opportunity. And then we have the Legion of Doom, who defeated the Nasty Boys and for the WWF Tag Team Championship. And of course, WrestleMania, the Nasty Boys defeated the Hart Foundation to become the new WWF Tag Team Champions. And this match was cool. It's cool to see the Legion of Doom come back and just defeat these guys. The Nasty Boys were a good tag team, but I just think that Legion of Doom were a lot better. I know Nasty Boys and Legion of Doom both also went on to WCW at some point. So, and this was a street fight, or a New York street fight, if you will, because this is where we were in Square Garden. So yes, but yeah, I always enjoy watching street fights. And Great Valentine and Erwin R. Shyster. We had Erwin R. Shyster making his debut in the WWE or WWF. And of course, he won his match with Great Valentine. He would go on to team with Ted DiBiase to become Money Inc. It was Ted DiBiase and Jimmy Hart is their manager. Again, another really good tag team of the early 90s. They would become tag team champions, as we'll find out in this next review. But, anyways, we had, of course, the Macho Man, Elizabeth wedding. Not really much to say. It was more or less for the women, I think. Because they like the sappy shit. But, yeah, it was fine. The biggest reunion they had was at WrestleMania 7. It makes me wonder if they're gonna do anything with John Cena and Nikki Bella, but they haven't really mentioned anything. So let's hope that they don't just cram it in at the last second. And they probably won't do anything anyways. But then we get to the main event: Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior versus Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnan. And this match was interesting because the infamous story where Ultimate Warrior held up Vince McMahon for extra money, or he wouldn't go out and perform, which is extremely unprofessional. Very unprofessional. I'm surprised Warrior came back a few years later. Well, actually, I was surprised he came back a year later, but very unprofessional in my opinion. And just fucking terrible. But, as McMahon said, he did pay the money, but he fired him up until the next WrestleMania. It sucks, but there you go. Anyhow, Warrior and Hogan ended up defeating Slaughter and Eggnob and Mustafa. So, yeah, there it is. And they also had Psycho Sid Justice, as the special guest referee. So, at that time, I think Sid Justice was a good guy, and who later turned on Hogan. But, anyhow, SummerSlam 91, this was cool. But the next one will be even better because that's mainly when I started watching WWF when I was a little boy, so this one will be a lot better for me to review because I have seen it recently. Anyways, talk to you later. Bye.